sun. They are stone and steel and wood and wire, and they change two things to one. They are righteous and murderers, they are poetry and more. They are love and understanding, they're better than a war. They are love and understanding, they are better than a war. There are canyons, there are canyons, they are yelling in the night. They are dark and so foreboding, they are holding for your light. They are fear, blind suspicion, they are apathy and pride. They are dark and so foreboding, and they're oh so very wide. They are dark and so foreboding, they are oh so very wide. Let us build a bridge of music, let us cross it with a song. Let us spread another canyon, let us right another wrong. For someone should ask us where we're off and bound today. We will tell them building bridges and be off and on our way. We will tell them building bridges and be off and on our way.
Well, welcome to Bridges Programming. This is a special deal going on with the Dharma bomb. This is if I've got that correct. If I don't have that correct, they'll tell me I'm screwed up on that. But we're here. It's a good group, and they know how to think, and they're from another group. And I'm going to ask Izzy to announce everybody, if they don't mind, with their first and last name and what state they come from. And they're here they're going to run around the state, and they're going to be talking to different people on the way where it's warm. So without any further ado, this is Izzy, and this has been brought to you by Renew the Earth. Bridges Programming is the program you want to get to, and you can see it on YouTube. Bridges Programming. This will be on forever on YouTube now. And the impetus for this program, the actual sponsorship, the idea of it, is the Human Renewable Energy Measure. Now, those of you who are listening to this is great for listening, but you can also get the video portion on YouTube. So, Izzy, take it away.
Okay, I'm going to ask each of them to introduce themselves, but I'm Izzy Mogulkar, and I have 3 homes, actually. My first home is the Omega Institute. Anybody wearing a shirt? No, the Omega Institute.
Well, no,
where we pretty much all come from, with the exception of 2 gals who come from Rochester, who are friends of somebody that worked at the Omega Institute. So the Dharma Bums started our tour just yesterday, and this is the first stop on our tour. My second home is Florida, where I live in the off season, and my third home is the road. I love being on the road with wonderful people like these, starting with.
Hi, I'm Sue Cotter, and my home is the van that's parked outside. That's it. My home is the van.
Hey y'all, I'm Anya Day, and home is in my heart.
I'm Haley Diaz, and my home is Rochester, New York, and soon to be Washington State.
I'm Gisela Gambini, and my home is planet Earth, and I'm coming from Virginia.
My name is David Pladoff. Right now, it's wherever I find myself. Right here right now.
Yeah. I'm Tori Thayer. I've been living in Rochester, but just like you guys, I consider all of Earth my home, and I'm moving around, finding different places to dwell.
Okay, now let's go a little further here. What's going to be your first piece of work?
First piece of work?
That's work. Like, what are you going to sing?
What are we going to sing?
Well, we got to define work. Work is singing and music and art. That's also work, in case anyone's not interested in that. I'm just going to go. So you guys choose what you want to do now, and we're next to go.
All right, we're going to sing this song. It has a little history to it that I would like to tell you a little bit of. Every song has a story. Sometimes, like with Arlo Guthrie and Pete Seeger, the story is longer than the song, but I'll try and keep it short for this one. This song, when I was with a group a little over a year ago, we walked across the country trying to raise awareness about climate. It was called the Great March for Climate Action. And this is the song that we sang every morning to get us going, walking 15 miles a day for 8 months. And I didn't like the song at first, but I grew to like it, and now I love it. And it's the message, part of the message that we want to get out to people, and you'll see.
I have politician friends like that.
You do. It's called Do It Now, and you can see a great version of it on YouTube, a highly produced version of it on YouTube. So if you're inspired by the song, go to YouTube and just Do It Now climate song. There are a lot of songs that Do It Now, but the Do It Now climate song, and this is it right here. We need to wake up, we need to rise up, we need to open up our eyes and do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. We're on a planet that has a problem. We've got to stop it, get involved and do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. Make it greener, and make it cleaner, and make it last and make it faster. Do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. No point in waiting or hesitating. We must get right from what I can do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. We need to wake up, we need to rise up, we need to rise up, we need to open up our eyes and do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. We're on a planet, have a problem, have to solve it, get involved and do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. Make it greener, make it greener, make it cleaner, make it cleaner, make it faster, make it faster. Do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. No point in waiting, hesitating, let's get right there, rise and do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now.
Very, very good. By the way, when you talked about climate, if you go on to Bridges Programming or Renew the Earth, you will notice a book on there called Illyria's World, and it's a cartoon book about 25 pages. And it's about a robot, a real robot. When I say real robot, I mean it's physically real. Okay. And it's with the granddaughter, and she's in a fantasy world about climate change. And you can download that. It's a free download, and help yourself to it and just enjoy it. And that's was done by Susan Comont a few years ago. And I think Al Gore had a couple of copies of that, and I think he gave out like about 500 copies of that that he asked for, and I think he made more copies. But it's called Illyria's World. And Bridges Programming, by the way, we looks like we are left-wingers here, but we're really not. We have a lot of right-wingers involved with this. They all want to do the same things. They all want to come together and not kill people and not screw up our planet. So that's the purpose of Bridges Programming. And we have we do a lot of conservative shows, and we bring everybody together. And the idea is the same thing: help the system, not screw people around. That's the game. Okay, and again, it's brought to you by the HREM, the Human Renewable Energy Measure. I keep on saying that because it's like an infomercial, but we don't sell you anything. We don't want your money. We don't want your Social Security. I'm giving you time to figure out the next song. You guys.
Okay. All right.
I'll just start.
Okay.
I'll start. Yeah, this is a song originally by Miles Yahoo. He's an awesome artist, and it's a reggae song that I just covered on my baritone ukulele. And it's about basically the same idea, but pretty much more focusing on nonviolence and how to create a better future outside of the context of war, figuring out other options.
You mean something peaceful,
Yeah.
not killing one another.
Right.
How we get
Stellar
along.
idea.
Cooperation. Good. Cooperation is a good song. Go ahead.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I say I'm taking you soon. I'm here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. And when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around because all of my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that they don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war, and I'm just gonna say one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. Not about winning, cause we all lose when they beat souls of the innocent, blood stretched pavement. Keep on moving, no water bridges. Sometimes you may lose the way, if I try to erase it, but I'm gonna take it away. Sometimes my tears are drowned, but I never let it get me down. And when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around. One day, one days it's all changed, people the same. Start with the violence, down with the hate. One day we'll all be free and proud to see. Under the same sun, singing songs like one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day.
Good song. Again, this is a special edition of Bridges Programming. We had the pleasure of having a group together, and they're out of an institute here, which is Omega Institute in Rhinebeck, New York. Do I have that right?
You got it.
And all these guys here are the I would say the heart behind the program, because they're the workers. They're the actual workers behind the program. So they make the whole institute work. So it was nice to, and then they decided, I guess, Izzy, you want to tell a little bit about that? Go ahead.
Sure. About 9 years ago, we decided that we needed something after Omega. What happens to people who volunteer at Omega for any period of time, and some of us volunteer for 6 or 7 months, when you leave Omega, you experience a psychological phenomena.
A letdown.
It's called the POBs,
P-
post-Omega blues. And you have to start thinking about things like, where's my next meal coming from? Because at the Institute, we have our meals provided for us. We eat the same food that the guests pay a pretty good price for, and it's really good food. And so now on the tour, here we are, cooking for ourselves, and we bought some surplus food at the end that they sold to us at cost. So it gives us a good start on the Dharma.
The food, by the way, you stop along the way, and the food was very good. And I just want to just bring out that they broke their ass making food last night.
Something very different. Yeah.
But so go ahead. I don't.
Okay, the post Omega Blues. A lot of our fellow volunteers. Two of you here, didn't work at Omega, but had a friend who brought them along. And Carly's not here right now; she's going to be joining us later. But when you leave the institute, you have to do something with your life other than you have to get a job. But we're bums, so we don't have a job. So job. We're on the road, and it's a great way to live. And I say about this phenomenon of the post-Omega Blues, instead of going down, we go up in terms of our mood, and we don't have the blues. Singing sort of keeps us together, keeps our mood high, and we don't have to work as much as we did. We do work exchange with some of the places we stop, rake leaves, wash windows. So if you got a job for us, here before we leave, take advantage of our free labor.
You're doing it. You're doing your job right now. Right now, you're doing your job.
This is the best form of
and you're using your mind to help promote the HREM, the Human Renewable Energy Measure. By the way, you are living the HREM.
Yeah.
When you work a couple hours a day or an hour a day and you get your basic needs met, that's what the human renewable energy means. So that's terribly important.
Yeah.
So now let's see. I know that I heard some good songs last night. They were practicing last night, and I did put some on my cell phone. So we'll throw some smittens on the actual Bridges Programming website if you want to see it. So you will be on that. But they did anyway. Keep on going. You guys are doing great.
We've got another song we have like 5 theme songs. What we do is we have a repertoire of maybe 60 songs, and we take requests from our song sheets when we're on tour. So, and we're going to add a few more, and maybe we'll be up to 70 songs on our repertoire. So one of the favorite ones we do whenever we come close to a sunset, we stop sometimes right on the road and start singing this song. And when we get to Florida, we go out to the beach, Indian Rocks Beach, and we sing this song. As soon as the sun hits the horizon, we start singing this song. I think we decided last night, second fret, yeah. So a little more people's range, depends. Second tenor range. But we're going to do this pretty plainly, and we're going to sing it through 7 or 8 times. And the third time through, we'll start singing a little bit of a round. So here we go. This is almost a rehearsal. A lot of us have not sung together until a day or so, something like that.
Well, it is a rehearsal.
Yeah. You can over-rehearse at Pete Seeger, and I agree with that. We don't want to over-rehearse. Here we go.
Or as someone said, it's all practice anyway.
It's all practice.
Yeah. Life is practice.
How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. This pretty planet spinning through space. You're a garden, you're a harbor, you're a holy place. Golden sun going down, gentle blue giants spin us around. All through the night, safe till the morning light. This pretty planet spinning through space. You're a garden, you're a harbor, you're a holy place. Golden sun going down, gentle blue giants spin us around. All through the night, safe till the morning light. This pretty planet spinning this way. Your garden, your harbor, your holy place. Golden sun going down, gentle blue giants spin us around. All through the night, safe till the morning light. This pretty planet spinning through space. Your garden, your harbor, your holy place. Golden sun going down, gentle blue giants spin us
the night. Stay till the morning light. Many planets spinning through space. You're guided, you're harbor, you're a holy place. Golden sun going down. Getting to giants, spinning around. All through the night. Stay till the morning light. Many planets spinning through space. Your garden, your harbor, your holy place. Golden sun going down. Gentle to giants spins around. All through the night. Stay till the morning light. Your garden, your harbor, your holy place. Golden sun going down. Gentle to giants spins around. All through the night. Stay till the morning light. Spinning through space. Your garden, your harbor, your holy place. Golden sun going down. Gentle blue giants spin us around. All through the night. Stay till the morning light.
Very, very nice. Now what was the one you sung last night? That was a nice piece. Did you study your ukulele?
I have my ukulele. I played Resurrection Fern. I think that's what.
Was that? I don't remember.
Yeah, that was
I have
good.
at my age, I have a tough time remembering.
We
Whatever.
drank a lot of wine last night.
But
I
You
did.
guys want to sing it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is called Resurrection Fern. It's a song by Iron Wine, one of my favorites. The days we will live like our ghosts will live. Kitchen glass, cornfield crows, golden glows. Like stubborn boys across the road, we'll keep everything. Grandma's gone, the black bear club took her dog. Sister love says amen, but won't hear anything. 10-car train to take their word, like a fledgling bird. The falling house across the way, and keep everything. Babies ride the bravery waves and unchained. We'll undress beside the ashes of fire. Turn the bodies down round in band wire. All the more a pair of the water birds than the oak tree and its resurrection fire. In our days we will say what our ghosts say, get lower when it's not fair. What we get, like stubborn boys with green eyes, we'll see everything. Tender shade, autumn leaves, and the buzzard's wing. We'll undress beside the ashes of a fire. Tender bellies bound around a bed wire. All the more a pair of underwater birds. The oak tree in its resurrection burns.
Very nice. By the way, I don't know if anybody knows, how many people know what the resurrection fern, ever watch it work? Resurrection fern?
Yeah.
In Florida, there's lots of resurrection ferns, and Susan plants them. And they're part of a tree, and they sort of look like they're dead, and then all of a sudden the rain comes out, and they resurrect. And they're beautiful, beautiful plants. We have lots of them, and Susan planted a load of resurrection ferns. Anyway, point of information, it's a real thing, and it's a beautiful song. I couldn't remember the name if you asked me an hour from now. What was that song again?
The one that Susan planted, that's the song.
But anyway, that's a nice thing. So again, we actually have several people hit this program. This is not a scheduled show, but it is now on YouTube. You'll be able to tell your friends about it. And where's your next stop?
We are going from here. Well, can you show them your back? Get your back. This is where we're going on the tour, and it says COSM. And does anybody know what the acronym stands for?
Chapel of Sacred Mirrors.
Chapel of Sacred Mirrors. So that's going to be our next stop.
What was that?
Chapel of Sacred Mirrors, and it's a place that's run by Allison and Alex Gray. They are visionary artists. They had a place in New York City, and they moved from New York City. The chapel was in New York City of Manhattan. If I'm getting this right, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. So they have a sort of a little intentional community. We're going to stop there. It's going to be a hit and run. We're not going to stay overnight there. We're going to tour the grounds. So a couple people have been there. I've been there. And it's a pretty amazing place. So we'll play a few songs, do a photo op kind of thing there. And then we're going to go on from there to Teaneck, New Jersey. One of our best and most consistent stops. The host is Lauren Hooker, and she's amazing. And I don't know if we want to go into it. There's going to be a ceremony there. All right, I'll just go into it briefly, very briefly. There's going to be a ceremony there. Uh-oh, it's going to fall over.
Everything is here is spitting a prayer.
Okay, right. There's going to be a ceremony. Izzy got married in Lauren's backyard 2 years ago, and I didn't want it to be a big deal. She made it a much bigger deal than I wanted to make it. But Izzy got married there, so.
Well, that's because she got married, not you.
Well, no. It was no. That story goes like this: Izzy married himself. I think I'm probably the first man in New Jersey to. It's a more woman thing, right? It's not a fad just yet, but more and more people are starting to catch on to the idea that it's a good thing. That I don't want to wait for the rest of my life, which could be 10 or plus years, for the one and only. I've already had 2 past wives, so 2 past wives is pretty much enough. So I'm going to recommit to, I got married 2 years ago, so there's going to be a recommitment ceremony. And, everybody's invited, and if you want to come down for it, on your way to Florida, you can stop and participate in Izzy's recommitment ceremony.
So you're committing again?
Yeah, I'm recommitting to
I've done that.
Yeah, to be my one and only. I know, one and only.
That could be arranged. Right? And then that'll be, and then the next stop after that.
The next stop after that, I don't have it memorized.
And then New York for
West Hampton, out on the island. We're going to be out in the island. And, there's a woman who's going to be on the tour on and off. Sophie, it's her mom's house. We try and spend a minimum of 3 nights wherever we go. This is an exception, 2 nights here. But in some places it's 4 nights. But we do just what we're doing here on most of our stops. We have song circles. We're not about performance. We like to say we are about participation. Pete Seeger is one of my teachers. He's a role model. And we do participations. We don't do performances. So we might even do one right here. This could be a segue into a participation. We did actually play it last night, but maybe we'll try one that we didn't play last night a little bit later before we're done. So we just gather people wherever we are. Sometimes out on the street, we pass out song sheets.
Well, people may show up today. If they show up today, they'll sit in. And I didn't tell them what time because again, it's all impromptu.
Yeah.
But so when do you expect to be out of this cold weather where it's warmer?
Well, the tour takes somewhere between 5 and 6 weeks, and sometimes we don't go exactly to our tour schedule, but we're going to go to New Orleans and then come back. So we'll be in Florida probably first week in December, first or second week in December, late December.
Okay, well that's sort of nice to get out of there.
And we may even come and visit you.
You're more than welcome. We'll be down there as soon as the weather gets too cold. I can't take it. I'm a pansy-ass character. I can't take cold weather, so I leave.
We go with the geese.
That's right. I follow the geese. It used to be that the geese followed me, but no more. I follow the geese. So let's see. What's your next song?
Okay, the one we last night. It seems to have a popular appeal. A lot of people know it, and it was part of the soundtrack that movie Brother Bartha. It's called "I'll Fly Away." So you people are watching online, sing along with us, and your song sheets is page 15. And we have song sheets at home. I know some people will watch this. Okay, here we go. Some bright morning when this life is over, I'll fly away to a home on God's precious shore. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh Lordy. I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, why it's fine. I'll fly away. When the shadows of this life have grown, I'll fly away. Like a bird that crimson clouds have flown, I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh Lordy, I'll fly away, Lordy. When I fly, hallelujah, fly, I'll fly away. Just more weary days and then I'll fly away to a land where joy will never end. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh Lordy. I'll fly away, Lordy. When I fly, hallelujah, fly. I'll fly away. Some bright morning when the sun is over, I'll fly away to a home on God's precious shore. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh Lordy. I'll fly away. When I fly, hallelujah, I am fly. I'll fly away.
Good song. This is a lot of work, though. I mean, you got to understand that this is, everybody can't do this. So this is work.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, I know some doctors that couldn't do this, and we couldn't do their work. But every human being in the world has value, and this is great because without music and without art and without poetry and without matter of fact, a baby, if you don't stroke a baby when it's first born, do you realize what happens to that baby?
Shrivels.
it dies. Fact, actual fact. If you don't handle a newborn child, it dies. They need love and touching as much as they need food and water. Point of information, look at Zeitgeist moving forward if you don't believe me. They're the experts on that. So what's your next one?
Well, I wanted to say a little something before we do the next one. I thought I had it on a piece of paper here. I was going to relate this idea that Hazrat Anayat Khan, who is related to the Omega Institute Foundation, his son, Pierre Vilayat Khan, and Elizabeth Lusser, and Stefan Rockstockman were the co-founders of the Omega Institute, where most of us come from. And Pierre Vilayat was a Renaissance man. He was a pilot, fighter pilot. He was a conductor in an orchestra, and he was a Sufi master. And he was the one that inspired Stefan and Elizabeth to start the Omega Institute. So it was Hazrat Anayat Khan, Pierre Vilayat's father, who said something that I relate to, and I think the Dharma bums can relate to. He said, music will be the next religion. And he said it in a more flowery way, and I had it written down on a piece of paper than just that. He said, music and its philosophy will one day become the next religion of humanity. And that idea is just very powerful to me. And I think some people can feel it happening, and I feel it happening, and I sort of see us as disciples of this religion, trying to pass it on. So
I want to thank Bill Staines for Bridges' song.
Yeah.
And that's what the end of that song is. We're going to be building bridges.
Yeah.
And that's how we fix the problem. And that's, again, thank Bill Staines for you allowing us to use your Bridges song on our Bridges program.
Right.
We give them
I'm thinking we're going to be kind of spontaneous here and do what we do out on the street or in people's homes. The next stop, we'll have people, okay, we can do that one. There's been a suggestion.
Quiet suggestion.
Yeah, we did last night,
That's
and
one I really
all the
like.
songs have a story, and I'll see if I can tell a different story than the one I told last night about this song before we tell you what it is.
Was it a better story last night than today?
This story is maybe rivals the story that I told last night. President Obama, the day before his first inauguration, was out on the mall, and up on the stage in front of the Lincoln Memorial, we had Bruce Springsteen.
Who was
of
there?
course, behind him. You were there, okay.
Yeah.
And you remember who sang the song? Pete Seeger was there. It was freezing, and Pete
Right,
was out
right.
there in a flannel shirt.
It was cold as a witch's nose
It
that
was
day.
very
Right,
cold.
right.
And so Pete said he would sing this song, but only if he could sing the unsanitized version. Kids get this in school sometimes, and it's a sanitized version. But we know that democratic socialism is on the rise, right, in terms of its acceptance. And Bernie is a democratic socialist, some of us know. And Woody Guthrie was also, if you wanted to have a label on Woody Guthrie, who wrote this song, was a democratic socialist. So there's Obama. You can see this on YouTube. It'll be there on YouTube singing this song. And Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, the story I told about last night, said if he had been elected president, he was going to make this song the national anthem. So,
Before you go any further, I want you to, if you can tell me the first president, within the name of Bridges Program, the first president who ever said, we do not need a minimum wage in this country. We need a living wage.
Yeah.
You guys get guess on that?
Ralph Nader.
Warren Harding.
President.
Richard Nixon.
Ah, right.
Really?
Just before he got nailed for Watergate,
Yeah.
and he was asked to try to impeach him. He was the first president that said, we do not need a living wage in the United States. And that the media cut him off at that point.
Yeah.
His next words were, we need a living wage. And I thought that was phenomenal. And I had no idea he said that. I was on a radio program from, I think it was, it's from out of West Virginia, a liberal station. And I got that from the announcer, and I looked it up, and he was right. It was the first president and that's a Republican who said that. Point of information in the name of fairness.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
You talked about a negative income tax, which is a similar concept. And I think that is just add to that. we need a maximum wage too. Nobody should make over $10 million.
How much is a dollar worth? That you can't answer that until you can tell me what a currency is worth. So it doesn't matter how much you make as long as nobody dies making the money.
Yeah.
So forget about the money number. You get caught up. That's the trouble with our age bracket. We get caught up in how much is it?
Yeah.
You can make as much as you want. Just don't kill anybody in the interim. Don't poison the water. Don't poison the air. That's the whole
That'll
point.
lower a lot of people's salaries right there.
Well, that's the whole point. If you just don't, it doesn't matter how much you make. Make as much as you want. But now, how much should you pay in income tax? You can't tell me that because it's subjective. But if you give me a base number to start from, a 0 point, that's what the HREM is about, the Human Renewable Energy Measure. The HREM.org, you guys can see that on your screen. But if you have that base number, then you can correlate that through our computer system worldwide on how much you should pay back in taxes. But you can't figure that without a start point. You got to tell me what a currency is worth. Anyway, go ahead.
Did I create enough suspense about what the song is? So, you know, everybody knows the song. Some people sing it in schools, but this is the unsanitized version. This land is yours. This land is mine. From California to New York Island, from Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking back to the highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you. I rode and rambled. I rode and rambled. All that first steps to starting Sandra. Where time is desert. And all around me a voice of sounding. This land was made for you. This land is yours. This land is my land. From California to New York Island, on the Redwood Forest, to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. When the sun came shining, as I was strolling, and we still waiting, and the clouds rolling, and God was with me, I was just chanting. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, and the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking, I saw a sign there. And on the sign it said, "Ocean passing," and on the other side, you can say nothing. That side was made for you and me. What about the poor people? And the shadow of zero, I saw my people. I see me talking, I see my people. I stood there hungry, I stood there asking. This land is made for you and me. This land is your land. This earth is my land. From California to the New York Island, and Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This earth was made for you and me. Nobody living can ever stop me as I go walking down Freedom Highway. Nobody living can make me turn back. Oh, this earth was made for you and me.
I think last night Susan came up with that, and she said, "This land is too much personal. It's this earth that is made for you and me." And I thought that was a good interjection with that. So, and when we say
about the earth, there's a book that I'd like to recommend to some people know about it, and if you don't know about it, it would be good for you to know about it. And it's with a different spelling. It's a Bill McKibben book, and it's EAARTH, Earth, and how to make life on a tough new planet. And the reason he spells it differently, and I think we should all start spelling it differently with 2 A's, because the old Earth that we knew about before the Industrial Revolution is gone, and it's not likely to come back anytime soon, meaning eons. It's not going to come back. So we need to learn how to adapt and mitigate the changes that take place. And if I could put one more little elevator speech plug in for what we're trying to do on the Dharma Bum Tour, it's to talk about climate change and the climate crisis. And the elevator speech that I'd like you all to learn how to give, when you come across people in the street, maybe, I want you to all know about the number 350. And I bet a lot of people watching don't really know exactly what that number is and why it's significant. And it's what the book Earth is about. Number 350, the most important number in your life, and that is the number of parts per million of carbon in the atmosphere that we need to get back to be relatively safe from the effects of global warming. It's like, think about a tachometer, and when above the red line is 350, and it's going up. We're above 400 as it continues to rise. We're going to get more and more trouble, superstorms. I think I heard on the news at McConnell lately that the highest or the lowest barometer reading ever came in a superstorm. Is that right? In China, or whatever it was. I didn't catch all the details.
Well, the thing, see, I have a little problem with that, because we are now beyond 350.
We're 400.
So at that point in time, a lot of people that you talk to say, so then what's the use? And a lot of scientists say, well, it can't change, we're done, we're finished. A lot of, fairly reputable scientists. My problem is that the reason we keep on doing this is because of the economic system. And that's what the HRM is about, the Human Renewable Energy Measure. We need to get it back. I mean, we're on a spaceship, and if we allow the tachometer, as you called it, or the oil gauge to go beyond the red line, or drop the we're going to just destroy ourselves. This planet will be here. This spaceship will be here. We probably won't. And if we keep on doing the insane stuff we're doing, killing our friends and neighbors and poisoning their water and their atmosphere and their land, we're going to die. So 350 parts per million is sort of an esoteric thing, because, okay, we're over that, too late, now what are we going to do? So I'm saying the reason we keep on going over that is because of the economic system. And we need to make sure we have to respect it. We have to have an agreed upon start point for all humanity, and that includes all species. If you want to, it just has to, we have to deal with it, but we need a start point. We need to say every human being, instead of using if you turn on the news, any channel, be it Fox News or NPR, the first thing is the report on the stock market. Well, what the hell does the stock market have to do with anything? It has nothing to do with real stuff. How much money do you make has nothing to do with how happy you are or how healthy you are. As a matter of fact, it's just the opposite. The sicker we are and the more money we spend, the better our GDP goes up. That's terribly insane. We need to make it so the GDP, or the gross domestic product, is how well the product of humanity survives. And if we can focus on that, as hard as we do with the stock market, we bring that number down to 350 in a short time. But it's the economic system which is stopping it. I'm sorry to preach, but this is where I must have pushed a button somewhere. As a matter of fact, I probably did push a button somewhere. Let me see what happened.
So while you're looking for that, I will say Naomi Klein wrote a new book called This Changes Everything. I have it, and you guys can dabble in it if you wish on the tour. And she has a very similar message to what you're talking about there. So it's not the number of parts per million that's really the problem. The inconvenient truth is, the real inconvenient truth is capitalism. Corporate transnational capitalism is a big part of the problem. So if we were capitalism, in my opinion, with a small c, selling hot dogs on the corner, or not dogs on the corner, and that's okay. I mean, that's capitalism with a small c is not.
Now, this was Sunday on the front stoop. I bring this up many times, but the Pope said the same exact thing. And I'm not religious, but this Pope, he was saying the same thing. It's capitalism that's the problem. and it's unchecked, and greed is just another word. I can't buy greed because that's just people who are ambitious. But we need to make sure all humanity has their basic needs met for minimal. We all get that. That's obvious, just like gravity. But they're working 20 hours a day, and people are just taking advantage of the rest of the planet and the world. And that's why we have over 350 parts per million. That's why we're wiping out species upon species. That's why we're killing one another throughout Africa and Sudan and Golden Heights, all over the world. And we need to stop this kind of behavior. And anyway, again, we need to start focusing on how do we stop the behavior. And if everybody just spent 15 minutes a day trying to figure out a way to do this, and think about it. Anyway, that's my opinion. I just go on stupid opinions. All right, let's go to one more song.
Another theme song, which we have many, 5 theme songs maybe, is one that. So this is going to be the first time that this group ever sang this song together. So
another rehearsal.
On page 17, the second half of page 17. Y'all know the song, so it shouldn't be too hard to do it. And we'll sing this first verse. For the last verse, we'll do it twice. So this is a Beatles song, and a little story that I have about this is we were at Omega, and Ram Dass, some of you know who he is. I asked him this question. Your buddy Timothy Leary, who did the experiments with LSD with Ram Dass and Richard Alpert at Harvard University, what did Timothy Leary say? He said the Beatles dropped acid. Changed their music, and it's LSD, lysergic acid diethylamide, right? LSD, and it changed their music. And then people who listen to the Beatles' music are sometimes profoundly affected by it. So we don't have to change our consciousness with chemicals. We just can sit back and listen to Beatles music. Change our consciousness. And this is a theme song for the Dharma Bums because we're part of a family. We're part of a Sangha, Buddhist meditation, Dharma Bum Sangha. So let's sing this song and think about those thoughts of how we are here to help each other out and be a family. What would you do if I sang out a tune? Would you stand up and walk on me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song, and I'll try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. I try with a little help from my friends. What do I do when my love is away? Does that worry to be all alone? How do it feel at the end of the day? Are you sad because you're on your own? No, we get by with a little help from my friends. We get high with a little help from my friends. We try with a little help from my friends. What do you need somebody to love? Could it be anybody? I want somebody to love. Would you believe in love at first sight? Certainly I could love it right. What do you see when you turn the light? I can't tell you, but I know that it's fine. Oh, we get by with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna cry with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. What did you do about saying out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song, and I'll try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. We'll try with a little help from my friends.
I'm listening to I'm looking at the screen, and right now there's about 5 people listening, and one of them I think is a person who listens regularly, and he likes a Beatles song. What is that song? Would you still love me when I'm 64 or something? And he loves that. I don't know if you know that, but that's one of his favorite songs.
Yeah.
And we're now over 64, so we don't know who's around yet, but that's another problem. But anyway, you want to go? You want to go for another half hour? We're down to the last 4 minutes of the first hour, so we can continue on. We did book the whole 2 hours, but it's up to you guys.
Yeah. I think we're kind of spent. We got to build up our
Okay.
stamina.
Well, I want to thank you all for listening. You've been listening to Bridges Programming, sponsored by the Human Renewable Energy Measure. Also, we support renewtheearth.org. These are all nonprofit groups, excepting for, of course, Bridges Programming. We always like to get as much as we can because we got to pay the bills. But we're here every Wednesday from 10 to 11, and Sunday on the front stoop, the longest stoop in the world, by the way, and that's Sunday from 11 to 10. And we have Paul Marco from Belief Magic. He does his programming, and that's up on our site. And then Bonfire does her program, and I forgot the name of that. I'm sorry, I don't have notes in front of me, and I don't remember much. So that's where we are.
I want to put a little plug in for the Dharma
Sure,
Bums.
please.
You can follow us on Facebook at Dharma Bums with a Z. If you want to follow our tour down the East Coast, we're going to try and post stuff, including YouTube that we just did.
Okay.
On our Facebook page, if that's okay with you.
That's great. Please. And I want to thank you all. The next piece you're going to hear from is our theme song. And we'll see you all again on, today is Sunday on the front stoop.
It's never quite enough for energy. It all comes down to energy. You wonder where the money's gone. Well, here's some food for thought. It all comes down to energy. Fossil fuel affects our lives like ripples on a lake. Cars and farms and factories and stocks. Supplies go down and prices soar, our futures are at stake. And when it's gone, it won't come back, and we'll be out of luck. Oh, energy. It all comes down to energy. You wonder where the money's gone, well, here's a field for thought. It all comes down to energy. We can get our energy from corn and grass and trees. Even trash converts to biofuels. Break loose from the stranglehold of oil companies. Renewables can fuel the world. We're here to spread the news. No, energy. It all comes down to energy. You wonder where the money's gone. Well, here's the fuel for thought. It all comes down to energy.
Thank you all.